What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review of The Kingsman. This was a movie I was excited for when it originally came out, when the trailer started, but then, of course, the pandemic and all the fucking delays, I honestly ended up completely forgetting about this film even existed. But yeah, man, I finally got to see it. I wanted to watch it a little bit sooner, but hey, other shit got in the way. So, but yeah, I finally watched it, and bro, I have to say, this film was bloody brilliant. I fucking love it. I would definitely say right now, in case you guys wondering how I would rank the trilogy of the Kingsman movies so far, I definitely like this more than the Golden Circle. It's definitely a tough one if I would say I like this more than the first film, but these two are definitely close considerations of which one would be. I would have to go back and rewatch the first one before I can give you a definitive answer of which one between these two I thought was my favorite all-around Kingsman movie. But either way, man, this film is fucking fantastic. So anyway, let's just jump right in. So the movie is directed by Matthew Vangs, if I'm saying his last name right, and stars Gemma Arterton, Ralph Fiennes, Harris Dixon, Colin Firth, Rhinus Ifans. I probably butchered that. All I know is he played Curtis Connors in Chasm, and of course, Mission Abort, December 16th, 1990. I'm sorry. Every time I see this man in a movie, Daniel Brun, I probably butchered his last name. I can't help but just think of that scene from Civil War. He's just like, Mission December 16th, 1990. That line is just stuck out in my brain from Civil War. And that was back when I didn't even like Zemo. But of course, you guys know with Falcon the Winter Soldier, he's one of my favorite characters. I fucking love him in Falcon the Winter Soldier. Anyway. And the plot of the movie is that one man's race against time to stop history's worst tyrants and criminals, masterminds as they get together to plot a war that could wipe out millions of people and destroy humanity. Now, obviously, the major gist with this movie is that it was obviously a prequel to the Kingsmen and how they kind of became the agency that we saw in the first two films. Now, first up, I gotta say, props to the cast. Everyone I loved, Harris Dixon, Gemma Arterton, and Ralph Fiennes, all of them were absolutely fantastic. Especially Gemma Arterton, I loved her as Polly, but without a doubt, the standout, the highlight of the film is definitely Rasputin. This man chews up the scenery every time he's on screen. He was probably my favorite character in the film. Digimon Housens, I forget, I'm probably butchering his name. He was also fantastic as well. I loved him, but Rasputin and Polly, without doubt, were probably my two favorite characters in the film. They were absolutely amazing. I thought Oxford was also great as well, and Conrad, I think they were both great. I really dug their dynamic as father and son. I thought that was really good, especially when we got to see the parts where we're actually in war, which I was assuming this is meant to be like a replacement or a replacement for World War I, just given the weaponry and everything. Those were probably some of my other favorite parts of the film. Bro, I gotta talk about the fucking choreography. Bro, if there's one thing Kingsman has always excelled at since the first film, it's the fights. From that glorious one-take action scene in the church in the first film, this fucking Golden Circle had its fights, but I would say this movie has the best fights in any of the Kingsman movies. Like, bro, they use so many. Like, the fights themselves look amazing, they're shot amazingly, and just some of the camera angles they use. Like, you have one fight that was mostly done for first person with Oxford, which I thought looked really fucking cool. And then you have this other one where they actually have like cameras, or I don't know what. It's like from the perspective of the swords. And I don't even know if this is how they even got these shots. I don't know if this was all CG. They just strapped GoPros to a car, to these swords or whatever. But we see them from like the perspective of the swords, and it looks fucking brilliant, man. Like, bro, the fights as a whole are just absolutely amazing. Especially ones where they like tie it in with music, like with the one with Rasputin. Bro, the fights in this film are so fucking good. The whole section where we see them in the war, like with the soldiers, and they're like on top of the trenches, and they all kind of, and you have the two enemies like lining up against each other, and then they put their guns down and grab their swords. Like, oh, that whole sequence was fucking amazing. Seriously, without doubt, some of the best action sequences I've seen in some time, and without the best, this movie has the best action sequences out of any of the films. Fucking fight me, man. Like, the first film had its amazing fights, but the Kingsman has it beat. At least in my opinion, man. man. I fucking adore the fights. Another thing I got praise: the cinematography and the editing, man. The cinematography in this film is great, not only from just just how well shot the fights are, but the film itself looks really fucking good. Like, I love those, like, one shot where they're, like, overhead, and, like, we see, like a time, like a time lapse of, like, this, like, farm area or this countryside as it gets built and it gets war torn. You have trenches get built, bullets, shells everywhere, man. It looked really fucking cool. And the editing I thought was also fantastic as well. Just from there were a lot of amazing transitions in the film, and the fights, of course, were amazing, man. Like, ugh, so much I loved about this film, man. The music I thought was overall really good, man. I liked what happened in the war section. I'm not gonna give out spoilers, but if you've seen the film, you know I was actually surprised I went there, man. I was like, holy shit! And yeah, man, that was pretty crazy, man. And like that whole section of the war, I already mentioned like that amazing fight with the soldiers, and I love their designs of like I don't know, German soldier, whatever. These guys had like gas masks on, and they like put this glove thing on top of their hand, which is just like this thing around it with like a blade sticking out of it. It looked really fucking cool. Some Killzone type shit, man. It looked absolutely amazing, man. And of course, whenever Daniel Brühl or however the fuck you say his name is on screen, it's always a joy. I always enjoy watching him, man. But like I said, without the highlight was Rasputin. His scenes when we focus on him around the beginning of the film, some of the best thing. They were like some of my favorite scenes, man. Now, like I said, the dude chews with the scenery every time he's on screen, man. And but one thing, if there was one problem I would have, it deals with Rasputin. Rasputin is so fucking good at the film, and he was so amazing that I wish he was the main villain of the film. Because who ends up getting revealed as the actual main villain was fine, but compared to Rasputin, he was very forgettable. And when you watch him, you just wish he was the main villain instead, man. Because he was so much fun. Such a joy to watch, and the man is just so batshit insane, man. Seriously, shout outs to the actor that portrays him. Like I said, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. But shout outs to him. He did an amazing job, man. I didn't even recognize that was actually Kurt Connors from Tassim, man. So shout outs to the makeup department, too. But yeah, man. But that's like really the only real flaw I have in this film is just that I wish Rasputin was the main villain throughout the entire thing rather than just the first half of the film, man, because he was absolutely spectacular, man. One of my favorite parts of the entire film, man. Seriously, it was amazing. But yeah, man, that's really all I gotta say in terms of the Kingsman. If you're a fan of these films like I am, definitely check the film out if you haven't. If you're not, if for whatever reason you don't like the Kingsman movies, I don't know why, this film won't really change your mind. But yeah, man, I definitely highly recommend you guys check this movie out just for the fights alone, man. The fights in the film are some of the best you'll see all year, man. Seriously, the choreography in them, fucking brilliant, man. Anyway, guys, overall, I'm going to give this film, to no surprise, a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, leave your thoughts down below in the comments when you guys saw the film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Apparently, this film isn't like that well praised by a lot of people. I'm seeing some reviews, and it seems like more people were more mixed on the film than anything else, which was I found very surprising considering how much I loved it. But yeah. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come out for more. See you guys next time.